I actually had posted a story on Instagram. Is basically just, I was just reflecting the night before. And one thing that came to mind, so I wrote it. I said, reflection night. Sometimes we ask God to level us up, but we don't realize that level comes with a challenge. You pray for more, but more requires a different version of you. More discipline, more courage, more responsibility, more faith. So before you ask God, where's the blessing? Ask yourself, am I becoming the person who can handle what I'm praying for? And I said, let that sink in. And I put this Bible verse, to whom much is given, much will be required. And that is Luke 12:48. So I had the DM and she said, Carlene, I really needed to hear this today. And I said, girl, talk to me. What's going on? She explained to me that she was in a very toxic relationship. So she had left her child's father. And she said, I left because he was just so toxic, and I decided to move somewhere further. And I did. And all of a sudden, because times got tougher, times got strong, things got a little bit harder for me, I decided to go back. She decided to go back to this very toxic person. So now this person did not change. Still became more toxic, to the point now she was like, I just feel like I'm going crazy. Like, I need to leave. I just don't know how. You know, she was explaining to me about how, you know, he was putting her down, belittling her, telling her that she wasn't good. You know, she doesn't have nothing. She doesn't have a car. She doesn't have a job. Like, all these things that an abusive person would actually tell somebody, right, in their weakest moments. And so she's like, I'm just trying to find out. I'm just trying to leave. I just don't know how. So as we would continue to having a conversation, mind you, I'm questioning her because I want her to see how God was showing up in her life, because she had said, I just don't feel like God is hearing me. I don't hear God. And as we were having the conversation, I had to really analyze the situation, right? So I checked it out and I said, let me show her proof really quick that she is actually stronger than what she believes or what she has been told, right? Because in your situation, anybody that doesn't have a car or house or money or anything like that, especially in a vulnerable state, anytime an abusive person tells somebody like that anything, they start to believe it, right? Because they go based, they think their worth is based on what they have, or their strength comes from what they've had. And I needed to show her that no, you're actually stronger than you can actually even imagine. So I said, so you're telling me that you already left once and you were like that for about a year. So I reframed it. And I wanted her to see how strong she is. Because at that point when she was venting to me and telling me these things, she couldn't see how strong she truly was. So I said, so you're telling me that you left once? And she's like, I did. And I said, okay. So I just let her talk. I let her say her stuff and everything. I just let her vent. And what I started to realize, what she kept telling me, she's like, I've been trying to do everything. I went to get help. I went to do this. I went to look for rooms, you know, just try to find a way out. So I had to keep showing her what God really created her to be. She's like, I'm losing my hair, my stomach hurts, anxiety, it's horrible. Because think about it, when you're in a very toxic relationship and you just sick to your stomach, at that point you kind of lose yourself. You can't even think straight because there's so much noise that's going in that's overpowering the strength within you, right? Because you're just dealing with so much. So I told her, I said, I know you said no doors seem to be opening, but sometimes God opens doors while we're walking, not while we're standing still. And this is what I want you guys to see. God will not open the doors for you when you are just being still. I know it says, be still and know that I'm God, but God is also saying, I need you to move and trust me. Okay. And I said, if he's mentally or physically abusive and you don't feel safe, your priority is you and your children. Okay. You deserve the peace. You deserve safety. God did not create you to live in fear every day. He said, I'm praying for you, but I want you to remind you that you are stronger than you feel right now. And I truly believe this season won't last forever. No problems, only solutions with God's guidance. I said, trust me, he will make a way. So as we were going on our conversation, she was explaining to me that she was trying for shelter. She was trying to find these places, but there's something that I actually caught in our conversation. Okay. She had said, Carlene, I cry out to God to help me, but I feel so defeated. Carlene, I legit feel like I'm going crazy. But there's something that I caught that I can see what the problem was. And she probably didn't even notice that she was doing this. She had said, I said, where is it at? Oh, one thing that I caught, she's like, I need to move, but I just feel like I can't. I feel like I can't move. And I asked her, physically or emotionally? And she said, yes, just so emotional. I feel drained and stuck. And it made me realize how many of us right now, we want to leave, but the reason why we can't leave in certain situations or an abusive relationship is because we're hoping for the best. We're hoping they might change. We have that little hope, right? And sometimes it makes our exit, our escape or exit a little bit harder. Why? Because you're still, you want to leave, but you're just still holding on to that little bit of hope, right? There's hope. Of course, she went back and I try to show her like, hey, the reason why you went back, yes, things got harder for you, but you just had that little bit of hope that your family were going to be able to get back together. She was hoping for the best. And I said, and you also didn't want to live with the what if, because a lot of us don't want to live with the what if, because a lot of people will judge somebody. Well, why did she go back to her ex if he was abusive? I don't think people really understand is that people have hope, and it's okay to have hope. Okay. I'm not saying it's okay to go back. I mean, everybody has their own preference, but I'm saying for somebody who's been in an abusive relationship, okay, it's not that they're weak. It's that they're hopeful. Okay. And sometimes it's that it's the what if that comes in. The what if. A lot of people don't want to live with the what ifs. They want to try. They want to say, what if I actually go back and maybe it'll work this time, right? But obviously in this situation, it didn't. So it made me realize a lot when I was having the conversation with her. I said, the reason why it's hard for you to leave and to move is because you're still holding on to that fear. And she was like, oh my God. I said, let me ask you this a question too. If you had a friend going through the same situation, what would you tell her? She's like, I would just tell her to leave. Okay. So then I asked her, another thing that I asked her was, let me ask you a question, because as moms, we do whatever it takes for our kids. I said, if your house was on fire at this very moment, what would you do? Would you do whatever it takes, or would you stay there? She said, I would do whatever it takes. And I said, girlfriend, your house is burning at this point. You need to do whatever it takes to get out, even though it hurts. Because if you don't, everything you care about will burn too. And she's like, oh my God. I love how you put that. She's like, you're right. I need to find a way now. You see, some of us right now at this point in our life, we're either in a toxic relationship. We're in a very abusive relationship. Maybe we're just stuck at a workplace that we don't even like anymore. But your house is on fire, my friend. Your house is on fire and you're just like still stuck there. See, God is not going to move. God is not going to help you when you are deciding to stay there, because God is like, hey, I will guide you. I will push you. I will be here to watch you and guide you in every step of the way. But you also have to be willing to do the work. And so I told her, I'm like, you need to move because you are burning right now. Your house is on fire. So my question to you is right now, in your situation that you are in and your house is on fire and you want your way out, what are you doing to get out of there? At this point, you got to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, because not, my friend, you're going to be burned alive. And God did not create you for that. So let this be a reminder. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to take that one step and God is going to give you the next one. God is going to be guiding you along the way, and he's going to open so many paths for you. But you have to be willing to work. So you have what it takes. I'm here to remind you, you have what it takes, my friend. I got out of a toxic relationship and I was afraid to move. But you know what? I was able to see what God really created me to be. My strength. I started to see all the things that I actually got over. So I'm here to remind you, I want you to look at all the things that you actually went through. Tough times in your life. Maybe something that you went through that is very, very intense, very painful, but you got out of it alive and you're here today. And because of it, you've actually transformed your life, or you're actually a better mother. You know what? When people see you, they don't even notice that you went through that. So if you feel defeated right now, don't let the enemy steal your happiness. Don't let him steal your joy. Don't let him steal anything that actually belongs to you, because you work so hard to get you where you need to be at. So let this be a reminder. If your house is burning, girlfriend, figure out a way out and God will meet you there. But most important, don't forget that you are strong.